What are you guys doing in my booth?
This is not your booth.
This is not your
Whose
booth.
podcast
What's
is
a
this?
podcast booth?
Do you just let anybody on the show second string Sarah?
Sarah, what is going on? And she's not security. She's not security.
Wait a second. Sit down for a second. What are you guys doing? What are you guys doing? Here, grab the microphone.
Here we go.
You should not. Say, look, I have to tell them what to do. It's clearly not your podcast.
Chris, we've been taking. This is a hostile takeover.
Yeah,
That's what's happened here.
I wouldn't call it hostile. It's a friendly takeover.
So we learned a lot from you.
We did. You were our introduction into the world, and it was
You were
like a
the
gateway
You were
drug.
the gateway drug. That's exactly. You were the gateway drug. We couldn't get enough of it.
Well, that's been said about me before, but we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that. Well, look, I invaded the deep.
pipeline things.
I invaded this podcast booth because there's a podcast and I have to grab a microphone and ask questions.
Go ahead, give a plug. Which one do you
Russell,
do?
come
For
on,
those
tell
of you who
him,
don't
tell
know.
him.
So you need to listen to the Pipeliners podcast, which is the original pipeline podcast.
Which we
And-
endorse.
Exactly.
We love it.
Indoors.
And you also need to listen to the Pipeline Technology podcast. I'm actually here with the Pipeline and Gas Journal guys, and we're walking around the floor of PPIM, and we're going to find out what's new and interesting here at PPIM. So, and listen to these guys because they're awesome. They've been on my podcast, and maybe one of these days they'll ask me to be on theirs, and I won't have to take it over.
How much are we going to charge him for this?
We're not charging.
That's it.